Hello, my name is Visor. Welcome to episode 21 of Let's Play The Witcher 2. Last episode, we killed a bunch of rot fiends, killed a bunch of harpies, met the visionary, and saw that he was crazy and had a really weird vision in the woods. Oh, plus, we killed Trot and took his armor. In fact, we can actually wear it, so let's do that real quick. This will probably be the only episode where we actually wear Selkirk's armor because it's actually not that good. If we compare it to our Karen armor, you can see it has a lot lower resistance and a lot lower vitality. Additionally, if we filled it up with armor upgrades, it would really only have 3 more additional armor, but it would also have 40 less vitality, so yeah, not that great. But we can wear it for this episode at least. And it pretty much looks like how it looked on Trot in that cutscene. Oh, also one more thing. I kind of made a slight mistake. Turns out when it comes to the throwing knives, there's actually 2 types, and I've been throwing the wrong ones. Basically, if you look at them, they say either silver dagger, or they just say dagger. The silver daggers, of course, are for monsters, and the normal ones are for people. So in that fight against Trot, we kept throwing the wrong daggers, so oops. Anyway, let's talk to this relic dealer who apparently knows Jahan, aka the Visionary, and he's supposed to have the spear.
Relics, artifacts, trinkets and talismans, hallowed and highly valuable.
Yeah, so he was lying about the whole I don't know where the spear is thing, so let's talk to him.
I know you have the spear Jahan used to pierce Sabrina's heart.
I told you about that, and I thought the old freak was trying to forget the sins of his past.
Well, actually, let's ask him what he knows about Jahan, since last time we talked to him, he said he knows nothing and clearly was lying to us.
You know Jahan well?
He despises me now, but things used to be different. We were called up at the same time. We fought under Hensel together. But I managed somehow, while he hated it. Why did they send him to that ferocious battle? He was the worst dumbass in the entire army, but he outlived the best soldiers. Covered in shit, piss, snot and tears, and still he survived. He cracked when they burned Sabrina. A beautiful end to a fucking beautiful day. Then he went to the dogs. He pissed away all he had on drink. I was the fool who followed him and brought everything he pawned around the inns. That's how I got the spear.
Alright, enough of that. Just give me the damn spear.
I need that spear.
Tough luck, Witcher. I last saw it a few years back.
What happened to it?
Look how similar we are. You want knowledge, I want coin. And we both need help to get what we want.
How much?
What are your customary takings on a contract? I'll gladly accept but 1/2 of that.
Yeah, no. You know, I don't like Jahan, but this guy, fucking dick. We can either mind control his ass, or we can threaten him. Or I guess we can try to persuade him, but rather just sort of threaten him. Fuck this guy.
Tell me what you know and we'll part in peace.
You know the price? I can't go any lower.
You'll have to go a lot lower when it turns out your business isn't exactly crystal.
You've got nothing on me.
The camp's full of pretty simple soldier folk. I mean, I doubt they'll listen to reason when they learn one of the vendors has been chiseling them.
Bastard.
Right back at you. Now talk.
You see, when Jahan lost his head for Sabrina, I bought the spear from the innkeeper. The donkey's ass pawned it in the inn. Drank like a fish. By then, Jahan had already hidden in the hills where no one dares to venture. Some call him the Visionary, but in my book, he's just a nutter. Beats me why the beasts don't attack him. A fisherman who supplies the canteen said that some monsters hate the smell of fish oil. Jahan makes candles out of it.
What did you do with the spear?
Sorry to say I lost it in a dice game. Shame, because today it'd fetch a good price. I lost the spear to a soldier who later fought the squirrels in the forests of the Pontar Valley. He told me he'd used it to kill some Scoia'tael big shot. I heard the shaft cracked as if there'd been some fucking jousting tournament. The most interesting thing is that big shot is still alive. I heard he's now with that vixen from Edern. Some frigging commander. Elves are weird creatures. Who knows, maybe he still has that spearhead.
Yorvith.
You know him.
I'll tell you for 100 orens.
Ah!
Alright, so I think that about does it.
So long.
So we want that spear because it's related to Sabrina's execution, and it's probably very important and actually magical, unlike those random nails. And it's going to help us lift the curse on King Hensel. But unfortunately, it looks like Yorvith has the spearhead, so we need to find him somehow. Well, I guess his initial sin is he actually lost a spear in a dice rolling contest. Which, by the way, in this camp, there is a dice rolling championship type of deal, just like Flotsam. You start with these two guys. You work your way up to Zivik, who's wandering the camp somewhere. Then you go to the madam at the brothel. And then finally, you play Lasota. That was the guy who was depressed that his girlfriend dumped him by writing him a letter, but then he remembered the girlfriend can't actually write. Fundamentally, the dice game really hasn't changed all that much. The tougher challengers just seem to be slightly luckier. Other than that, it's about the same. You can always keep on playing until you win.
You won. You want coin or something special?
Just like in Flotsam, you actually want to take to something special. It's a diagram.
I'd prefer something besides gold. I see you've got quite a bit of armor.
If that's your wish, I can offer you a number of armor designs, specifically for studded, tempered, or supple leather armor.
Now, these diagrams are not actually armor diagrams. They're leather diagrams. So we take the studded armor design, we get studded leather.
I think I'd look good in studded armor. Let me have that design.
Always thought you Witchers had a dandy streak in you.
Anyway, now that we have the diagram, we can create studded leather whenever we want. Now, of the 3 recipes, there were going to be normal leather, which we don't need a recipe for, hardened leather, which is made from normal leather, and studded leather, which is actually the most expensive, which is why I took it.
Tournaments. Now that's a pastime for real men.
Anyway, we want to talk to this guy to turn our Rotfiend contract.
I'm here about the Rotfiend contract.
What about it?
The fiends have rotted for good.
Well done, we lost many patrols to them. Here's your reward.
Now, if I remember the rewards correctly, the reward for this quest is Dwarven Enchantment, which is fine, but the Fire Rune, which is what I really wanted. Like I said, there's no reason to keep these runes. We might as well spend them when we can, because we'll always get more of them. Anyway, while we're here, remember, there's the thing about the propaganda made by Dandelion. Apparently, Geralt thought it was a very dangerous thing to do.
Here to visit your old friends?
Just looking around. You?
A lengthy stay in Hensel's camp, and one is likely to become somewhat Kaedwinized. I'd like to avoid that.
Rightly so.
Anyway, so we're going to ask him about his crap.
I found a letter addressed to the people of Kaedwen.
A letter? So?
It's your drivel, idiot.
Where'd you get that idea?
I know you. Not to mention you had the gall to quote me.
You're not the only Witcher in the world.
So, you admit it's yours?
Sure, it's mine. People have had enough of that pompous clown colluding with Nilfgaard. I decided I needed to open their eyes a little wider.
Any idea what that pompous clown's going to do when he finds out who's opening his people's eyes?
How would he find out? It could only come from you, and I assume, at least I hope, you won't rat me out.
They're going to kill you.
Nah.
Why did you poke your nose in this?
Henselt approached me to write a few panegyrics about him. You know, singing his praises. Can you imagine that? Me? Writing a political pamphlet? Who the hell does he think I am?
But that's exactly what this letter is.
Possibly. But it's for a good cause. Henselt's a prick.
Yeah, I mean, Hensel might be a prick, but I don't understand Dandelion's reasoning at all. Sounds like a great way to get his ass killed. Anyway, there's a few other things we want to do around camp. Now, one of the big things you might be wondering is, why did we get Selkirk's armor? Well, to lift the curse on the battlefield, we need 4 magical items. 1 to represent courage, which is Selkirk's armor. 1 to represent hatred, death, and faith. Unfortunately, we can't get the 3 other items yet, so we need to handle some other jobs first. However, before I do that, there's also another side activity I want to do. This guy over here, we were told that we should arm wrestle him.
Need some help, Monster Slayer?
I want to talk, dog of war.
I've heard much about you, Witcher. Greetings.
Greetings, Captain.
Huh, he's pretty friendly. And he has a custom character model, which is kind of rare. Anyway, we want to arm wrestle this guy.
Let's talk arm wrestling.
Go on.
Bartholomew Bargy sends his regards.
Bart Bargen. I remember him. Strong for a peasant.
For a peasant. They say you're the strongest arm around here.
You wouldn't be talking to me otherwise.
How's that?
During the Battle of Brenna, I got into a knife fight with an Nilfgaardian commander. That's to say, he had the knife and I had my bare hands. I grabbed him by the wrist, but the blade kept coming towards my throat. He was strong, but lacked stamina. When I felt him weaken, I twisted his arm around and slit his throat. I've worked on my hands, wrists, and arms since then. They all come in handy in my profession.
Want to wrestle me?
To challenge Adam Pangred for the championship, you've got to beat the best contenders.
Who should I challenge?
Martin and Randall are the strongest in my company. Then there's Magnus, the camp blacksmith.
I'll try them.
Watch out for Magnus. As I see it, he could easily do his work with no tools.
All right. So we gotta fight all these other random ass people again. But it's not a big deal. I mean, they're really close. They're just somewhere in camp. There's the two random soldiers who I don't really care about because they're not interesting. And then there's a blacksmith who Geralt is a dick to for no goddamn reason. Finally, after beating all three of them, then we can finally arm wrestle Adam. And really, I think the biggest reward for arm wrestling Adam is the fact that we can win 100 orens. So let's do that. Try to make her gold. Of course, there's a risk we might actually lose since he's actually kind of tough. Like, it's moving left and right far more randomly than it normally does. But overall, arm wrestling is still pretty much the same as before. And I guess it's still completely devoid of background sound, which is super bizarre. Oops, off the mark. Let's get back on that. It's kind of hard to get it back, but it's doable. And there.
Lucky that Nilfgaardian at Brenna wasn't as strong as you. Or Adam Pangred would be a heap of white bones right now.
Lucky for you, we were only playing for coin.
I venture to say there's only one man who stands a chance against you. Numa.
Numa? What kind of name is that?
He's a circus artist. The mighty Numa, they call him. Apparently grips like a vice. Word has it, he cheats.
How?
Performance-enhancing potions. The undetectable kind.
I'll be sure to seek him out someday.
You'd know best if he's using his muscles or alchemy.
Alright, so we're done with arm wrestling here. I'm pretty sure you guys have an idea what we're going to do in Chapter 3. We gotta wrestle Numa. Anyway, that's pretty much it. So, we can talk to Deathmold now. Pretty much take care of everything else. And we're about to take a small trip across the mist. So there's a few things we need. We want to first turn in the conspirators.
I found Trot and a few other enthusiasts of the square coins.
Did you learn who leads them?
No.
Any survivors?
No.
Oh, you might at least have spared Trot. I'm sure he had secrets.
Yeah, he kind of attacked us, so he had to die. Anyway.
Any reward for the conspirators?
Indeed. A nice round sum per head.
Alright, let's get those coins.
I could use the gold.
How many were there?
Vincent and 5 others.
You killed 6 men. You and your kind should be isolated.
The reward?
Is yours. Here.
I don't know, that seems a little unfair. I mean, he was so excited when Sabrina apparently blew up a battlefield. The Geralt kills 6 guys and he freaks out? That's where he draws the line? I mean, really, there are literally monsters in this world and you're worried about the Witcher? Anyway, we need to talk to him some more. Let's ask about some magic dust.
I need magic powder to mark out the runes.
Are you aware that the formula requires powdered camphor resin?
I am.
Then you must also know that the resin is extremely valuable.
Well, stop being a little bitch. We need it for Henselt.
Get Henselt to pay you. I need the powder to do the exorcism, reverse the prophecy, and release him from the curse.
You should have said, I'll give you as much as you need.
Thanks, on the king's behalf.
I've one more thing you might find useful.
What's that?
You asked me for protective runes. I've done better. Take this grimoire, which details many. I believe there's even one for syphilis. I've marked my recommendations.
Thanks.
Why does he have a thing for syphilis? And how would even the runes work? Where would you put that on your body or room? Anyway, let's not worry too much about the STDs in this world and how to prevent them. Instead, let's talk about the fact that we need to cross the mist to get the spear.
I've got to get through the mist, or I can't lift the curse.
I shall supply the white flag when you set out as our emissary. The lass is reputedly honorable. She'll welcome you, invite you to a feast, and with a bit of luck, you may even plow her.
You're sick, Death Mold.
They say she's very pretty. Peasant girls not to your liking?
Not your concern.
In case the elves lack an understanding of diplomatic symbolism, please also take this armor. With His Majesty's blessing, I might add.
A king's concern can be boundless when his life depends on that of another.
I spent some time working on this recently. This little marvel will guide you through the fog and provide a measure of protection from the specters.
Thanks.
Okay, so that pretty much covers it.
See you.
Now, that armor he just gave us is pretty much why I will never upgrade Selkirk's armor. I mean, it already wasn't that great, but compared to this new armor, it's so much worse now. I mean, look at this armor. It has more resistance across the board, more sign damage, more vitality, and more armor already. It's far better than the Karen armor, which was already arguably better than Selkirk's armor. Plus, I actually prepared ahead of time and got some of these. Diamond armor reinforcements. So we are going to put these on our armor, just like our old Karen armor. So now, it has plus 23 armor and plus 60 vitality. So now it's very, very lovely. Now additionally, we also leveled up twice doing that. So initially, I said we would go down the Swordman's tree, and we will, eventually. But I actually kind of expected to use more mutagens by now. And if you actually noticed, I haven't used a single one, and I'm already level 20. The problem is, I haven't actually found that many greater mutagens. In fact, the only greater mutagens that I've found so far are vitality mutagens, which I don't really like. I'd rather get something that increases my damage or crit chance or something. So we're actually going to go down into the alchemy tree for a little bit. The thing is, in chapter 3, we get a chance to respec, so we can actually take everything out of here and put it into swordsmanship. Plus, what we need to actually get is 2 points into side effect. Basically, whenever we do alchemy, we have a chance of creating some mutagens, which means I'm going to create a lot of grape shots. And we want impregnation, which increases the bonuses of mutagens. We want 2 levels there. So basically, in terms of points, we need 1 point here, 2 points there, then 1 point here, 1 point there, and 2 points there, which in total is 7 points, which means we currently need 5 more levels, which means we'll get everything by level 25, which isn't too bad. That means we'll have another 10 levels that we can put straight into swordsmanship, then eventually respec and put even more into there. So for now, we're going to be taking a slight temporary detour into the alchemy tree, just because I want more mutagens. Anyway, next time we level up, we're going to put another point into side effect, so we get a 10% chance of creating a mutagen, and then just make a lot of potions and grape shots and stuff. Anyway, we're done here, so let's get going. Also, we have that new armor. Pretty snazzy. I think it has some runes around the arms and shoulder. Additionally, there's a few other things we're going to do when we cross the mist. Remember, I said we need a symbol of death as well. Remember Zivik talking about the Dung Banner standard being lost? That's definitely a symbol of death. We also want a sword that's named Hatred, which apparently Saskia has, you know, the Dragon Slayer chick. The sword named Hatred, of course, is the symbol of hatred that we want. And of course, we still need a spearhead. Plus, there's a few other things we'll probably end up doing, so let's head in that direction.
Good to see you, you old rogue.
Why the long face, Sultan?
Everything's fucked.
The only sight worse than a sad dwarf is the sight of a very sad dwarf.
I don't suppose you have any vodka?
I didn't really see that in my inventory, but sure, let's go for it.
Might have.
Wonderful. Life without old mates and booze is like a woman without a rump.
If you need a change of climate, come with me. I'm on my way to Vergen.
You say that as if you're going to the brothel round the corner. Forgetting about the spectres?
I may have amnesia, but I remember the curse.
Well, all I get around here is non-human midget and the like. And I've dwarven brethren on that side. Sure as shit, I'll take Saskia over that prick Hensel too. You really willing to help me cross?
Of course.
You know, Geralt, I have a feeling that Vergen's where I should be.
I get you. Let's go.
How do you plan to get through the fog? Thought it was suicide to venture into it.
Death Mode gave me a protective amulet.
Throw it out! I wouldn't touch anything belonging to that dick.
Well, Deathbolt is a dick, but let me explain.
The magical potential of the talisman will cause a local interference in the astral projection, creating disharmony where the two dimensions of reality meet.
Meaning?
The mist should part to let us pass.
You should have put it like that to begin with, instead of all that crap about astral bodies. I'll go with you.
Alright, so we're gonna do that. However, remember, when we started this, I said, hey, we need to get the trust of the people so we can talk to this elf. Well, we've done a lot for the soldiers here. I think we can finally talk to the elf.
What do you want?
Can I talk to him?
You're all right. I've heard you've been helping our lads. Talk away, but be quick. If the corporal sees you, he'll have your balls. And ours.
Alright. Now, for this part, make sure you have subtitles on, else it's gonna be really weird.
Bloody fat gun. What do you want?
Information.
Now we can ask a few things. Let's start with who are you?
You from Yorvith's unit?
I'm proud of it. Yorvith will avenge me.
Maybe.
And you were caught because of me, because that's how you build friends.
I'm responsible for you being captured.
I don't understand.
I warned Yorvith that the Kingslayer had betrayed him. Your leader's alive because of me.
You lie! You're not one of us.
Never claimed to be. I'm not interested in your fight, nor in that of the humans. I have my own goals. I'm hunting the Kingslayer and need information. Will you help me?
I'd rather not reveal anything to the Dwan. Do you know Elder speech?
Mm-hmm.
De Thurmen en Rendan Fest. Ev de Sale emes de Mevneslet.
Sea heath.
En Ted verletho ken en stert dun vernea welt. Erte dreie ep Dwan. Seret en ox wat gern est. Denna Arthurnek wert. Visse ögen. Erle ögen. Ken hat mer. Denna dar emen dunv. Dak mamert.
So you might have noticed that they're not speaking English anymore. Well, that's because now they're speaking the Elder speech, and if you don't have subtitles on and you're not reading them, you don't know what the fuck's going on. I mean, really, it seems like a slight oversight that if you don't have subtitles on, you have no idea what's going on here. So basically, all he said was stuff that we already knew. There's two other Witchers that were hiding with the Scoia'tael, they were working with the Kingslayer, and they betrayed him. So this guy is the only one that survived. But let's ask about a few other things, like, what are their plans?
Ken vene de alme hest.
Denna neersela vede sala in esne geërtj. Veneer senden ert el.
Teame, ne segenir. Elisera.
Mekian behented fen esert. Seret neer ura jasen het. Ertep orks garthe seget enith rothen ken hest. Te ern mothe diarn.
Rathain. Que diables Rathain vertherel.
Veseneth rothen deren henselt gerel vorte hen. Then diarme elistrea hen. Ne mer se health.
Okay, so the subtitles actually aren't that great, unfortunately, with the background. So I'm going to summarize real quick. They were the Witchers and they didn't trust each other, but he did overhear the Witchers talk about how they wish the Redanians would get here. So apparently they're doing something with the Redanians, who, by the way, are going to be visiting King Henselt real soon.
En herd ep kianje esme gethverf. Se este en kien e diable ep arskied. Ken jesse thith treach.
Mesem treachled.
Alright, so they're probably hiding in the gullies, but looking for them in the gullies is really kind of hard to do since this place is covered with them. Anyway, for the last bit, who are they working for?
Niame herf. Este velf ep kethen ken hest.
Fuentes ken.
Then kean velt emer dorvat gern.
All right, that pretty much covers it, so let's go.
Varför?
Quen vat gerne henlinde kren.
Nemesecht.
Oxen and seret est kren. Vel merth Gwynblade Kenneth Belk. Vedden emeth Gwynblade. Say at the step gathis en preth winnis. Vafel.
So, right at the end, he was talking about how the other Witchers know Elder speech a lot better than you. I guess that might be important. Anyway, though, we're going to head to Vergen, which is across the mist, and of course also on the other side of the war. Also, if you remember, that's where Triss teleported with the Kingslayer, so maybe we'll be able to find him.
I can't wait to have some proper ale instead of that piss water they drink in the Kaedwinian camp. Thanks again, Geralt.
Alright, sure, disembodied voice. Yeah, I don't really understand the whole door system. It seems like it's kind of slow, really. Anyway, we're heading to the mist. We could enter the mist before, but every time I went, I pretty much instantly get killed. So, yeah, probably weren't supposed to do that.
Tough crossing ahead of us, Sultan.
Looking to scare me now? We're going, and that's that.
Okay, heading into the mist.
I see the path. The amulet is guiding us.
You sure?
I can't be sure of anything this fall.
You could have lied to make me feel better.
Anyway, we pretty much just follow this purple ball. Occasionally it'll disappear, and I think if you get into the area and use your medallion, it'll show up again. But sometimes it just does that. It's bizarre. And it doesn't seem like it gets rid of all the enemies.
How many more?
Seems like sometimes it can still hit you. And I'm not sure if they instantly kill you, but just better to avoid them in general. This last bit's a little awkward though, because I got hit right at the end. Glad it didn't one-shot me though, so I guess that's okay. Else I would be pretty pissed.
Never again. Fucking fog.
Look at it this way. You'll be able to brag about seeing the ghostly fog from the inside for the rest of your life.
I'd rather brag about how I plowed 3 wenches at once in my youth. Kill him!
Adon!
Stop! You're making a mistake!
A mistake? Interesting. There's a war on. Don't know if you've noticed. And wars are won by killing foes. Or do I have it all wrong?
The Witcher's a messenger. On his way to see Saskia.
Not your typical messenger.
Well, I don't know if you noticed, but we had to pass through an atypical fog in which your typical messenger would have shit just before he...
Enough! We'll not let you inside Vergen. But you can deliver your message to the commander of the watch. He's stationed by the town gates.
Plowing typical elf. Come on, Geralt.
Now, personally, I think we can take on all these elves. But since we're going in there to ask for favors, probably not a good idea to murder their advanced scouts. Anyway, that's pretty much it for this episode. Next episode, we're heading into Vergen. But until then, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.